fellow Africans. Today is 25th May 2025, the year of our Lord. Is a day when we remember the formation of African Union, which was renamed, or the formation of Organization of African Unity, way back in 1963. It is African Day because that was the time Pan-Africanism started. There was Pan-Africanism. The direction was not known. The time of carrying away Africans started to be exposed, taking them across to Atlantic, Caribbean, and other states in the Arabic Gulf states where our Black African people were taken. They were sold as commodities. Today is a great day that people started struggling for the independence of the African continent, the liberation, the emancipation of people who are subjected by the 1884 Berlin Conference of Bismarck, where Africa was divided, put into subsections of a doctrine of divide and rule. Underneath it was mercantile capitalism that we see today, that divides Africa today. The type of mercantile capitalism that was embedded in the divide and rule doctrine still hangs on and still is around African continent. We are manipulated by the same powers that sold us as slaves, that sold us as items, that used us as slaves. We are still controlled by the same because we have accepted. On this day, we still want to accept that Africa is not united. The divisions that you see in African Union, I have been a critic of the African Union since Muhammad Faki was elected. A French Moor was elected in African Union, sold our organization to the French. They started manipulating us, telling us which election you support, which conflict you should support. How do you dismember this country? Remember the Congo, DRC Congo elections, where AU chairperson Muhammad Faki sent observers and refused to recognize it. Remember Sahaware, Western Sahara, where we brought back Morocco. And today we say we are right. We have not enslaved our friends. What do you talk of Sahawaris? They need a home. What do you talk of Nigerians, the Biafrans, who have left in hundreds of millions out of Nigeria? What do you talk of the southern Cameroonians who are being butchered? What do you talk of Somalis who are being killed? What do you talk of the Congolese, the Central African Republicans? What do you talk of the Libyans whom Sarkozy spearheaded, lied to the United Nations Security Council under Resolution 1973, dismembered Libya? How many leaders on the African continent still remember Gaddafi? Still follow? I want to thank Mbeki. Yesterday in the Dar you gave a speech I was watching. My dear great brother, thank you for that speech, reminding us that African countries betrayed Gaddafi. They voted alongside with imperial powers. If they had abstained, maybe the resolution would have collapsed. Today we mourn, we turn, we gripping, talking about invading other countries, going to force democracy, the type of democracy that Africa is talking about. Which one? Which democracy? China 40 years ago, fellow Africans, China 40 years ago went back to a drawing table. How many countries in Africa want to go to a drawing table? Tell me, show me one that wants to go to a drawing table, start afresh, after realizing that from 1963, 25th May, nothing has changed. Corruption is rampant. Disease is rampant. Ignorance is worse. Some people don't even know 54 countries of Africa. Some people don't know the presidents. Some countries in Congo, like for example, doesn't know that Mobutu died. Some people are still ignorant. Some presidents have never visited their rural areas. Tshisekedi, for example, doesn't know what a pygmy in the northwest of Congo, how he lives in that forest. He has never been there. We are engulfed. We have been surrounded by conflicts, sponsored by Western Hemisphere. France has sponsored conflict in the Sahara region. Look at Burkina Faso standing up, Mali standing up, Niger standing up. We have banished these children of ours. African Union, you have become a centerpiece of disunity, not unity. As we celebrate this day in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, people are attacking Tanzania. Yet Tanzania sacrificed its role, its money, its resources, its little money to support liberation movements that liberated 3/4 of Africa, including my own country. When Idi Amin killed most of us, our fathers slaughtered, our fathers, grandfathers, women, sisters, brothers were murdered. Nobody was talking. AU was still talking about whether we support Amin or not. Look at that. Tanzania stood firm. And therefore, I will not take any nonsense from anybody, any lecturer, any toddler who to lecture me about the struggle of which Tanzania has gone through. I'll stand by it. But let's look at why Africa. I want to take this message to President Mahama, Dr. Mahama. You have talked, and you have talked. You are one of the few people in Africa that I respect everywhere I find you in a hotel. You know me. I have always hugged you. Why I hug you is because you are honest. You speak your mind out. Both of you, President Ado and you, all of you, you might disagree on a number of things, but Ghana is one of the countries that I love in Africa, that I enter when I reach the airport. I'm well, I'm free, I'm happy. You have done very well. Your message today, President Mahama, you speak of reparations. That is my strategy. For everything to heal, there must be reparations. There must be restitution. There must be truth-telling. There must be accountability. There must be reconciliation. We cannot speak of reparations from the same guys when we are not united. Your Excellency, President Mahama, Africa is not united. Your neighbor, Nigeria, across is brutalizing people. In the southeast, in the north, Nigeria has become a hollow state, a state without governance. South near Cameroon, Paul Biya is brutalizing people because they speak English. How do we seek reparation when we still have those obstacles? In Khartoum, Sudan, things have fallen apart. Sudan is no more. How do we talk about reparations? How will you be united to ask who to give you what and bring where? The AU theme is this year reparation. You ask as who? Are you united? Why can't we be united? Remove these obstacles. Libya has fallen into two parts. Two, Benghazi, Tripoli. Why? France wants to continue to take oil, free oil, loading it, keeping it underground, piling oil, from stealing it, literally. The French are stealing Libyan oil. The government in Tripoli has nothing to do with what is going on in Benghazi. The warlord in Benghazi, General Khalifa Haftar, has trained over 30,000 men in the south of Libya that destabilized the entire region, up to the region, down up to River Nile, towards South Sudan. What do you do? What can we do? What can Africa do, Dr. Mahama? You are a member on the panel of the eminent Africans. You spearheaded this panel. Tell us, I want to give an example. How on earth this court was created and another court was created in Arusha? The court in Arusha was supposed to look at cases of Africa. My fellow Africans, I want to tell you, out of 54 countries, only 18 countries have signed and sent their documents for scrutiny to the court. We have judges sitting in Arusha. I'm challenging you, Africans. Today you are celebrating this day. What are you celebrating? When you want a reparation, Your Excellency, Dr. Mahama, when you cannot even have a court that can make a ruling for such reparations and forward it to the Americans, forward it to the British, forward it, how will you reparate? Most of the countries, I want to thank Ghana, I want to thank Botswana, I want to thank Burkina Faso again for having ratified the court in Arusha, for having ratified the court in Arusha. Thank you, people. Thank you, leadership of those countries and several other countries, Cape Verde, Burkina Guinea-Bissau. Thank you for signing to be accountable. Most of the countries in Africa talk big, talk huge. They have not signed. How are you going to ask for what type of AU if it is not a manipulative African Union chairpersonship of Djibouti that does not have a record of all the people dead in Burkina, in Biafra, in southeastern Nigeria? The people dead in Borno State, Plateau, the Christians murdered in Plateau belt, the middle belt, the people killed in southern Cameroon by Paul Biya because they speak English. If the AU does not have that record, what AU are you talking about? Where are the records? Where's the data? Mr. Mohammed, Dr. Mohammed Yusuf, my brother from Djibouti, can you investigate this? It was not your mistake. But find out, go deep on this question of Southeast Nigeria and the South Nigeria and North and the belt, why Christians are being killed on a daily basis, why people in this region are being killed. There is no data. Your political security committee in Africa has let you down. Let them look for documentation. The crimes documented that There are people being killed in southern Cameroon as we speak. There are 10 prisoners that were kidnapped at night, taken to Cameroon, sentenced to life. They will never see life until God maybe take them to heaven or hell. Why are we keeping quiet? Somalia, why are we keeping quiet for a long time? The longest fight that has been on the continent since 1991. Why can't we look for methods to pacify, even through dialogue? If America is talking to Taliban, why are we not talking to Al-Shabaab? End the war. Let people come back together. Why are we not talking to the two parties in South Sudan? Mr. Chairperson of African Union, I'm not an enemy. I'm an ally. And it is high time you used me as an ally, not as an enemy. The more you isolate me, the more I will bring you down. Because you need, these things are under your table. And I'm telling you the truth, they are under your table. There are things there that have happened in AU that you need to correct. African Union Commission, you must clean up the mess, the type of corruption. Going for meetings, calling meetings everywhere. Why do you go to beg money from European Union? For what? We have enough money in Africa. Let's make reforms that can change Africa. Why do you host our football by Total Oil in Morocco, when Morocco has occupied Sahrawi, Western Sahrawi state, and Sahrawis are refugees across Africa? Is this fair? I'm talking today. Is this fair? This is the African continent. We must talk. This is the African continent where we must say our voice. We were born on this continent as Black people, born and white, yellow, born here. Anybody born in this place is an African. Whether you are an Afrikaner from South Africa, you are African. This is your country. Don't be bullied by anybody. This is your continent. Speak for the continent, stay on the continent, and speak for it. Don't tell Trump, I am this or that lies. No, let's speak the truth. There's something wrong with our African Union Commission. We need to correct things. So many things are taking shape that are not worth. Mr. Chairman, bring some of us. Don't isolate us and make us enemies. You will lose out. Because I will continue to hit you every day. I will write about you, about the manners that you are doing. It's not a threat anymore. It's serious. I wrote documents about Faki, Muhammad Faki, what he did, what he has done. When he went to Qatar to collect money, everything, corruption, I put it to the African Union, to Kagame. Kagame put a report of so many things of corruption before the chair. What have we done? We are still continuing as business as usual. Fellow Africans, let this message resonate, let this message go to you, to the mountains and the valleys of Africa. Let this message go, that unity of purpose. We don't have even a court that can try ourselves. Now we want reparation. How will you present your reparation when there is no court order? Dr. Muhammad, doctor, friend of mine from Ghana, you are the chairperson of this eminent panel of editors of presidents in Africa. Can you do something to clean this mess in African Union? Can you, Muhammad, can you help us, doctor? Can you help us the way you have structured Ghana? Can you structure African Union Commission? It is in a mess. It needs direction. It has been captured. Can you give us a new hope? Can there be reforms that will come, that will make Africa united? The people of Zimbabwe have struggled with sanctions. We talk, we don't help them. We go to Africa, to White House, we leave Zimbabwe behind because the president of US has said, don't come. Then we shouldn't go. If Mnangagwa is not going to the US, let's all of us not go until Mnangagwa goes to US in the White House. and explains his problem. Why should we be called the US when one of us is not there? That's the unity our founding fathers on this day had. Nkrumah refused. Nkrumah told people that you want to kill Lumumba. He never, Nkrumah's mistake to be overthrown. The first coup in Africa in 1965 came from Kwame Nkrumah's home in Ghana because he said, no, Southern Cameroonians need freedom. It's a state of its own. The French just captured it without documents. The AU chairperson, the United Nations Secretary General then didn't even leave any document. He was killed in the process when he hadn't said any document. French just captured the territory and the Cameroonians just took. There's no agreement on Southern Cameroon. Why can't we resolve such? And then we want reparation. You want reparation, yes, but let's go in court. Let's put up a court. The African Court of Justice and the People's and Human Rights is in Arusha. And I thank Madame Suluhu for standing up to maintain that country peaceful, such that this court continues to be there. But it has judges sitting there doing nothing. Now you want to ask for reparation, surely. You are to who? Who is going to give you reparation without court order? Who has seen this type, that how much each country lost? Once they give you reparation, who is going to take the biggest chunk? How will Africa divide? Africa was, the whole entire Africa, ladies and gentlemen, as I end, the entire Africa was affected by slave trade. How shall we divide? How shall we be reparated? When the reparations come, are we ready to be united such that every part of Africa received? With the AU chairperson, AUC commission that I see today, we are bound to have a mess. He's a new person who has come in place. We accept now. But sir, I ask you to employ most of us, to work, to call most of us to come. Don't call on the diplomats. Some of the diplomats just go there to drink brandy and pocket of dollars. Some of us will work hard to bring about peace. Bring us on board. Bring us to make sure that we make a change to help you to run African Union smoothly. Have volunteers like Dr. Matsanga to work for you. You only need to put me on a plane. I will solve the problem of Sudan. Tomorrow, the two generals, Hamid and Burhan, know me from 1994. Don't you know me, generals? Say you don't know me. I knew you when Bashir was the president. I used to come to Khartoum. We did solve the problem with Becky. We used to go to Darfur, Gambari. All these people are here. Why are you not bringing Gambari and others to come and help? Why don't you bring in Becky, who knows more about Sudan, and bring this team? We shall resolve the conflict. But you are there appointing people. People have offices, planes, huge planes waiting at the airport. No results. Qatar is coming, taking. America is coming, selling us. And finally, there are people who talk about democracy. America. I mean, is there democracy left in America anymore? Where is it? Transactional. If you have oil, you have minerals, Trump will give you democracy. That's all. That is what is left. If you are an activist paid by George Soros and other foundations running around Africa, you are on your own, because democracy now is being sold. You have diamonds, you have uranium, lithium, we shall give you democracy. This is not a democracy that we wanted. Let Africa go back and create a renaissance. I agree with Thabo Mbeki. As you celebrate this day, those are my thoughts. Make the court work. African countries that have not ratified and deposited, the word is deposit your documents, so that Africans are not shipped to Africa, to ICC. We don't want to see any African ever going to ICC. We want Africans to stand trial on African continent. Please, 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 I have struggled for many Africans who know themselves, how I worked hard, how I suffered, how I worked, how I have bills. I have a bill in one of the, with my credit card, pending of about 1.5 million, 7 million shillings, which I used to buy tickets to go to ICC to defend people. I am here, and I'm still here, and I will still defend because I'm an elder. As an elder of Africa, I will not give up on the children of Africa. I believe that one day, and one day alone, Africa will rise and shine. As we call in investors, some of us are global citizens. We want to thank the places that gave us hospitality. I want to thank the British government for the hospitality they gave some of us when we needed it. We thank the late Her Majesty, the Queen, the establishment in Westminster. You have been the best people so far in the world. You gave us food, clothing, education, tools of analysis when we needed them. We are using them. Even if we are not living in those countries, we still impart knowledge and talk with confidence because of the British system that educated us. As a member of Chatham House, as a member of International Institute of Strategic Studies, and as a member of the Royal African Society, I believe we can change Africa. But Africa can be changed when it has its foundation laid in the rule of law and the foundation in the transformation of democracy. Which type of democracy do we want? China 40 years ago went back, changed its democracy. China today, it had one farm where they were eating, sharing with us in Uganda. Today, China supplies the whole world with surplus money in dollars, surplus money in goods. Why can't we think as Africans, change the course? Let's organize, and unite. Don't disorganize. Organize and constructively engage the people of Africa. I therefore pass this message to President Dr. John Mahama of Ghana. As you seek reparations, let's first let every African country sign to the court and place documents there before they talk. Because I've been to this court, I'm going to this court, and I have seen every time you apply, Nigeria says, we are not members of this court, therefore we cannot come. Surely, in a country with 250 million people brutalizing its own people, Africa must rise, and it will rise and shine again. I do this for Africa, with Africa, by Africa, to set a legacy. I am going home. We want to lead people. I'm going home in a few years to come. God will decide when to go. But I want to leave a legacy that I was bold, frank, and constructive. I contributed to the world, to the globe, to African people. I want to thank you. Thank you very much, Africa. Long live Africa. Thank you.